Hey guys, welcome back to the Unsavvy Budgeter. Today we're going to be taking a look at how to create this dashboard for our budget. Some of you guys have mentioned that you would like to see how this was created, so let's jump right into it. First thing I did was I opened up Google Sheets. You can just go on Google and type Google Sheets. It's basically like Excel, but it's an online version provided by Google. So you would click on Go to Google Sheets, and then you would create a new spreadsheet, and you will be presented with something like this. First thing we want to do is create this nice title bar where we can see the month that we're budgeting for and just give the budget a title. So to do that, we're going to go here and just rearrange a few cells a little bit. We're going to put May 2021 in here. We're going to put our combined budget. And all we want to do is just highlight some of these cells and merge them. And then we can highlight the rest of these cells and also merge. Expand this row a little bit, recenter everything. Just like that, and then highlight it and color it in any color that we want. So I'm just going to go with this dark blue. Perfect. Now, in order to get rid of the lines that get created between the cells, all you want to do is just highlight all those cells again, and then go to borders, select the color for the border and set it to the same dark blue color, and then click this to apply it to all the borders. Perfect. Now the border should not be visible. I'm going to highlight these first two cells, and I'm also going to change the color of the text. Maybe make it a bit bigger and give it a different font like Comforta. The next thing we want to do is just hide all these cells so it can look more like a dashboard. So we're just going to highlight everything, the area that we think that we're going to be working with, go up to borders, click on border color, pick the white color, and apply it to all borders. There we go. Now it looks like there's no borders anywhere. So let's go ahead and start creating the sections. We have our income sources. In the income sources, we're going to have our paychecks. We're going to have side hustles, reimbursements, other. I think that's pretty good for now. And maybe total up the whole section. We're just going to highlight these two cells, merge them together, give it a color. Dark green is fine. Then we'll highlight these other cells, also give it a color. I'm just going to click on a lighter green, maybe even lighter than that. Perfect. And this last cell, I'll make it slightly darker. There we go. I'll expand this row a little bit so we don't go into the next cell by accident. And in here we can start writing our projected paychecks. So for example, $5,000. Side hustles $1,000, reimbursements $100, other $50. In this cell right here, we want to sum up all of those values. So as you can see, when I started typing, it automatically wanted me to just press enter here, and it realizes that I want to add all of these numbers. So it's enough for me to just type equals sign sum and then press enter. And it sums up all the values for me. The other way around it is to just click equals sum and then open parentheses, highlight those cells, close the parentheses, and enter. We want these to be shown in dollars, so we highlight all of these. We come to the formatting, and we can pick currency. There we go. Also, just to keep things consistent, maybe we want to keep the same font everywhere. So if you press Control A on a PC or Command A on a Mac, you can highlight all the cells. Then you just go to the font and choose the same font. There we go. Next up, we're going to add our available balance. Here we have our checking account, income, and total available amount. Once again, we can copy the same formatting. The easy way to replicate the formatting is to just highlight the formatting that you want and click on this little paint format, and then click on the cell that you want to format. And it copies the formatting over. Same thing here. We want to copy this format. We highlight it, paint format, then we highlight these cells. There we go. And then this total income goes here. Perfect. Let's take a look how it differs from what we have in our dashboard. So it looks like we used white font here and maybe a larger font size. So let's fix that. We highlight these two cells. We change the font to white, maybe bold it, bring it up to size 12. We can bold the total income as well, total available, and maybe bring these up to font size 11 to bring more attention to it. All right, so how do we reference this cell here so we don't have to constantly make the modifications everywhere? Basically, if you don't reference it, then you have to come in here and update it manually. And when this changes here, let's say we make another $50, so we have $100 now in other, it would not update the total income in this cell. So instead of just writing the number in there, we want to reference the value in cell C8. So we click equals here, and then we just click on that cell and press enter. And now if we make changes, let's say we got back additional $200 on reimbursements, it not only updates here, but it also updates here. Now here in checking, we can add that we have $2,000 and once again do the sum. And we have a sum of all the values. So basically we do the same thing going forward on all the other cells. So I'm just going to fast forward here to save some time, but this is the general idea on how to create these tables and how to clear out this spreadsheet from all the borders so it looks more like a dashboard. All right, so here we are. What we need to do is for available balance, we want to reference the total available balance here. So once again, we click equal sign and reference C13. There we go. So once we have all of this, this value to be budgeted basically just bases the values off of what are in these cells. Same thing as previously. Here we summed up everything. Here we also summed up everything. Here we are also summing up everything. For the over budget section, it's a bit more complicated. I'll explain that in a second, but for now, just create the section for it and you can just put 0 into this box, but we will adjust that shortly. Let's go ahead and create the section for the categories where we budget our values and where we put the actual spending and calculate the difference between the budgeted and the actual spending. I'm just going to type category budgeted actual spending and the difference. And in here we can start putting our categories, for example, household, transportation, sinking funds, utilities, food, savings, debt payoff, so on and so forth. So let's highlight these cells and give them a color. I just used gray. And I also set the font to white. Then I press Command B or Control B to make it bold, or you can just go up here and click bold. And I went ahead and put in budget for each of these. So I'm just going to make up some numbers. 1,000, 500, 250, 300, 500, 1,000, 2,000. For the actual spending, as you can see, there's two cells here, and I went from one cell over to the other. That's okay in this case. The reason why that happened is because I wanted to push these columns together to bring the tables closer to each other, but that's okay. All we have to do is here, we just highlight these cells and we merge them. Then we highlight these cells and merge, so on and so forth. That way, when we give them colors, it's not going to show as multiple cells. with borders. Here we go. We're going to pretend that we spent $1,000 here. We only spent $200 on transportation and so forth. Finally, the difference is basically the difference between budgeted and actual. The calculation for that is very simple. All we have to do is click equals, select this cell, minus the other cell, and press enter. Google will automatically suggest that we can go ahead and autofill the same formula for the rest of these rows. So I'm going to click OK, and it did all the hard work for us. We want to format all of these numbers as well to make sure that it shows in currency format. Perfect. And if you guys remember, in the old dashboard, we had these colors automatically changing in the difference section, green showing that we are under budget and red showing that we're over budget. To do that, all we have to do is go back here, highlight these cells, go to the menu, click on Format, click on Conditional Formatting, and click on this color scale. Over here, we can pick a default format. So let's click on this one, and we set the values that we want to work with. Basically, the idea is that $0 would be white, anything in the negative would be red, so I'm going to put -100. This will make sure that when I reach -100, it turns the cells that specific color, and if it's under 100, it will just apply a shade of that red, and if it's over -100, it will just show the darkest red. We do the same thing for the green section. We apply it at 100, and now we can see that these cells will automatically change colors depending on how much of a difference we have between budgeted and actual. So let's say, for example, we go and say that we went over budget and we spent $1,500 on household. We'll say -500 and it will color it red. But if we go only $50 over budget, I'm going to change this to $550. We can see that this cell did not turn as red as this other one. Finally, we just want to give these cells some nice shading. That way we can easily tell the difference between each row. There we go. This is all your preference, but if you really want to, you can also add a border around it. I did not add a border, but that's purely your preference. I'm going to stop this video here. If you guys like this tutorial so far, I'm going to go ahead and create a second part to this. And in the next video, I'm going to go over how we created the graphs and visuals on displaying our categories in this nice pie chart, and also how to create this percentage of categories spent bar graph to show how far off we are from utilizing 100% of our budget. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. There will be more content like this coming if you enjoy it. And also go check out the other videos on this channel where Cindy goes into detail about how our debt-free journey has been going. We hope to put out some content that will not only help us, but help you guys. And if there's enough interest in this spreadsheet, we could potentially make it available to you guys so you guys could download it and start working with it without having to go through the whole process of setting it up. Once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.